truck driver to prison because he was caught smuggling £7 million, $9 million worth of coke was all packaged neatly into Skim products.
£7 million worth of cocaine was just discovered hidden inside a shipment of Skims clothing, and a truck driver is now sitting in a prison cell with a 13.5-year sentence, while Kim Kardashian hasn't said a single word about it. This is not a rumor. This is not speculation from some anonymous blog. This is a case prosecuted by the National Crime Agency in the United Kingdom, adjudicated at Chelmsford Crown Court in London. It involves 90 kilograms of cocaine worth approximately $9.4 million, packaged in 1 kilo bricks and concealed inside a truck carrying 28 pallets of Skims products. Kim Kardashian didn't issue a statement. Skims didn't issue a statement. Nobody from that empire has denied involvement, condemned the incident, or even acknowledged it happened. They didn't deny it. They didn't distance themselves. They didn't say a word. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why that silence is the most revealing detail of all. Let's lay out what we actually know, because the facts alone are devastating. In September of this year, a truck driver named Yaqub Konkel was stopped by border officials at a port in Essex while driving a vehicle carrying 28 pallets of Skims clothing from the Netherlands. According to the National Crime Agency, Konkel had stopped along his route to collect 90 kilograms of cocaine. That's roughly 198 pounds of the substance. The truck had been specifically modified with a hidden compartment built into the back doors to conceal the drugs. The cocaine was wrapped in precise 1 kilogram packages and tucked into this custom compartment. Konkel was reportedly paid €4,500, about $5,000, to make this delivery. He was sentenced to 13.5 years at Chelmsford Crown Court. Now, the National Crime Agency was very quick to state that the shipment of clothing was legitimate and that neither the exporter nor the importer were connected to the smuggled load. And that's the line everyone is supposed to accept and move on. But as multiple independent commentators have pointed out, there are questions here that simply do not have satisfying answers. You're telling me that someone built a custom hidden compartment into a truck that was already scheduled to carry Skims inventory, loaded nearly 200 pounds of cocaine alongside that branded merchandise, and nobody higher up the chain knew anything? That doesn't automatically mean anything suspicious. But the question being asked across every platform right now is simple. How does that happen without inside knowledge of shipping routes, schedules, and logistics? But it doesn't stop there, because when you zoom out and look at the broader pattern surrounding the Kardashian business empire, this incident doesn't exist in isolation. It fits into something much larger. As several investigative commentators have documented extensively, the Kardashian family has found themselves adjacent to an extraordinary number of legally questionable situations over the years. There are the long-discussed questions about Kris Jenner's church entity and how money flows through it. There's the well-documented situation involving Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott staying in a New York apartment that was later connected to illegal gambling operations involving figures from the professional football world. And now there's Skims, a company that was recently hit with a separate lawsuit alleging it failed to pay workers proper wages, denied bonuses, forced employees to work through lunch breaks, and essentially operated what critics have called slave labor conditions in its factories. That lawsuit is active. It's on record. And when you stack it next to a cocaine smuggling case involving the same brand's shipping infrastructure, a pattern starts to emerge that even the most generous observer would struggle to ignore. People are now openly questioning whether the sheer volume of companies the Kardashians launch year after year after year serves purposes beyond simply selling shapewear and lip kits. As one commentator put it bluntly, every single year there's a new entity, a new brand, a new venture. You're really going to tell me that the only thing moving through those supply chains is clothing? And here's where things get really interesting. Kim Kardashian has spent the last 5 years carefully positioning herself as a criminal justice reform advocate. She's posted bail for inmates, she's visited the White House, she's been photographed in the Oval Office. She's written statements on behalf of prisoners and framed herself as a political hero fighting for the wrongly convicted, and the media has largely played along, portraying this pivot as genuine philanthropy. But if serious researchers are correct about the connections between corporate shipping networks and the movement of illegal substances, and this is not fringe thinking, this is exactly what J.P. Morgan was accused of, then Kim's proximity to the criminal justice system takes on an entirely different meaning. The question being asked is not whether Kim personally packed cocaine into a truck. Nobody credible is claiming that. The question is whether her strategic insertion into criminal justice advocacy, her relationships with law enforcement and political figures, her access to corridors of power that a reality TV star would normally never enter, whether all of that serves a function beyond good PR. Because let's be forensic about this. She didn't have this access when Kanye West was handling the political relationships. This pivot happened after their separation, after she needed her own leverage in specific spaces. Multiple industry insiders have pointed out that the timing is not coincidental. When you put all of this together, the cocaine smuggling case, the labor exploitation lawsuit, the pattern of adjacent legal controversies spanning years and multiple family members, the strategic political positioning, a picture forms that is impossible to unsee. This isn't about one truck driver making a bad decision for 5,000 euros. This is about an infrastructure. And when a 90-kilogram cocaine shipment worth nearly $10 million gets discovered inside your branded merchandise, the response from a legitimate company would be immediate, loud, and unequivocal. The silence from Skims and from Kim Kardashian personally has been deafening. Think about that for a second. Now contrast this with how other public figures handle even the faintest whiff of scandal adjacent to their brands. When legitimate companies discover their supply chains have been compromised, they launch investigations. They issue public statements within hours. They cooperate visibly and loudly with law enforcement. They hire independent auditors. They hold press conferences. Kim Kardashian has done none of this. Zero. Skims has done none of this. The National Crime Agency cleared them in a single sentence and everyone moved on as if 90 kilograms of cocaine showing up in branded merchandise is just a Tuesday. Meanwhile, Yakub Konkel, a truck driver who was paid $5,000, is spending the next 13 and a half years of his life behind bars. He'll be lucky to get out in 10 with good behavior. He's the one who pays the price, because that's how these structures work. The person at the bottom takes the fall. The people at the top never get touched. The coin of these arrangements, as people close to these investigations have described it, is simple. If you get caught, only you go down. Nobody above you, nobody beside you, just you. Let that sink in. And this brings us to what happens next, because this story is not over. The lawsuit over labor practices at Skims is still active. The cocaine case has generated international headlines that are not going away. Investigative journalists across multiple countries are now looking at Kardashian business entities with a level of scrutiny that didn't exist 6 months ago. The P. Diddy trial and the Epstein files have permanently shifted public awareness about how corruption operates at the highest levels of celebrity and corporate power. People are no longer naive. They understand that billion-dollar empires are not built on shapewear alone. The transportation of illegal substances doesn't just happen in back alleys with small-time criminals. It happens through corporate logistics networks, through legitimate-looking shipments, through companies with household names. We are watching that reality become impossible to deny in real time. Kim Kardashian's billion-dollar valuation, her political connections, her carefully constructed image as a criminal justice reformer, all of it now exists under a shadow that no amount of PR can dissolve. The question is no longer whether corruption surrounds this empire. The question is how long it can continue before someone other than a truck driver is held accountable.